here to just ask you a couple questions about music. Since you're a musician,
Of
you do go to
course.
St. Olaf,
Of course.
and I would like to hear your insights on some of the stuff. So I guess we'll just start with, what role did music have in your childhood? How does it continue to affect you today?
That was really like the biggest thing in my childhood because like I never really did sports or anything. That's actually a bit of a lie. Like I did gymnastics, I did baseball. I was just never really too good. A lot of
Hmm.
them, I put almost all of my time into music, especially because I started so early. Like I started with a little church choir when I was 6, so I've been doing it for a long time. I put a lot of time into that, and that's kind of just been like my main activity, my main sport, being good at singing.
So is your relationship with music ever changing? Do you find that like as you go older, your perspective on music or how you view it and like how you interact with it changes, or does it just stay the same?
I feel like I wanted to take it more seriously ever since like past high school. I'm majoring in it now. I'm
Yeah.
trying to balance that with computer science, which is a bit tricky. And there's ways that I can kind of break into that, maybe with like sound engineering or with audio engineering. But at the same time, it's not the easiest thing to kind of combine with computer science. Though I'm still looking at whether I want to be like a performer or if I want to work in software and seeing what I prioritize in my life, kind of exploring my options while I'm here.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's like getting to college, it's just been like a nice place for me to just explore what's important to me.
And I guess choosing to go to St. Olaf, that was definitely a part of your thought process then.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when I saw the St. Olaf Choir in Chicago, I was picking between here and Iowa, and I was
Hmm.
like, okay, I've got to go here. This is one of the best choirs I've ever heard, and I wanted to be part of that.
Do you remember the first time you ever fell in love with a piece of music? And if you do, can you explain to us?
There's definitely been pieces before it, but like I know like the earliest memory of like a song I really enjoyed was like Liebestraum by Franz Liszt. Like I would always just sit around like sometimes when I finally got like my little iPod Nano when I was a little kid, like green little iPod Nano, I just listened to a ton of piano pieces.
Yeah,
And like a lot of people I would fall in love with are like Schubert and Liszt.
of
But
course.
like
Yeah.
one of the first ever pieces I was always listening to it on repeat would be like Liebestraum, and that's what kind of got me super into classical and super into piano. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to try and learn piano, but at the same time, like it's been tricky to balance that with time. And I
I
think that's
mean, you
something I want
should.
to do here while I'm here.
And you're a vocalist. So is there any like special experiences you've had performing that you would like to share with us?
One of my best experiences beyond like just choir in high school or going to state choir have been like I was I think it was summer of 2019. It was my summer going into sophomore year. I was going abroad for 4 months in Europe performing with the Blue Lake International Choir, and we toured around like 7 different cities. It was amazing. I was in France, I was in Germany, and it was tricky a lot of the time too, because like I did not speak French. I spoke German, which made it a bit easier in some places, but a lot of these places you had nobody speaking English. So it was really tricky to kind of communicate and get used to that little culture shift. But at the same time, being able to perform in these spaces and connect with everybody, even if they don't speak the same language as me, was such a magical experience. And then being part of a choir that's full of so many different singers from around the nation, so many different people, and being able to keep in touch with all these people, especially people from the Midwest. I've made some of my closest friends from that one experience, even if it was like just a short time.
So music really connected you with other people and is sort of a universal language, right?
Yeah, I found that the
Yeah.
people I'm closest with are also musicians because I spend so much time with these people performing. It just becomes natural that we become friends over time.
Yeah. Now we're getting down to a big question here, Jack. What is the greatest live performance of music you've ever heard, if there is one?
One of my favorite pieces that I ever heard was it was the summer before I came here, just last year. Um, Me and my friends, we all went out to the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and we like to grift. We found a nice way to get choir balcony seats. We got it for like $10. I'm sitting there right there. Ricardo Moody is like facing me, like I'm right there in the center. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm right behind the horn section. It was amazing. And then they played, um, this beautiful piece. They played Mother and Son. I forget the composer, but it was this beautiful piece out of like the South Chicago, and I remember just sitting there for the entire 20 minutes, just like tears in my eyes. It was such an amazing piece, and that was like my first time ever experiencing the orchestra in person. I think that's always going to stick with me as being like my first experience with like such an amazing group like that.
You think there's a magic to live performance that you just don't get with recording?
I do, because a lot of times I'll listen back to recordings of favorite songs whenever I perform them or whenever I'm watching a performance, and I feel like I cannot get engaged the same way. Like if I see the St. Olaf Choir performing a song, because I like to listen to a lot of the albums they have on Spotify, I can't get the same feeling I do just listening on my phone than when I'm in person, really engaging with them the same way they're engaging with each other. It's just, you can see the passion within them when you're actually there in person. And I think it's hard to connect with that the same way if you're just listening to recorded music or anything.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. There's like some sort of magic that's just like present when you like see live music, and it's just like you're there and the musicians are there and you're all connecting. Where do you see music taking you in the future? Do you see a future with music? How is it gonna like affect you later in your life? Or what do you think it's gonna be like, at least?
I've made sure of it that it's gonna be part of my life somehow. Like that's why I'm here. And no matter where I ended up, like I was gonna do music in some way with computer science. I'm hoping that there'll be a way to combine them, because worst case scenario, I have music as a side thing, and it's kind of just like a hobby that I take very, very seriously, and maybe I can always make that into a career further down the line while focusing on computer science, because it's not something I really want to give up. I remember being in like middle school, I had to choose between my trumpet and my voice because just how the classes were in high school. I couldn't graduate if I kept doing band and choir at the same time. And I've always regretted putting one down and never picking my trumpet back up. I play it so rarely now. So it's the same thing with computer science. Like I can't see myself dropping one or the other. I want to put all my time into both. And so sometimes it does take a lot more work trying to balance the two and be at the same level with the two. But I think it's worth it in the end. And it's really just like me in college right now. I'm just trying to figure out how I could bring the two together. Like I said earlier, going into sound engineering or working with digital composition, that'd be something that I feel would be amazing to work with. Putting my skills towards entertainment or film scoring, or figuring out how to do software and music at the same time. Both are kind of careers where I can balance less hours and be able to probably apply both skills at the same time within one regular work week. So I'm hoping that further down the line, I can meet the right people. I can meet the right, find the right opportunities, and keep engaged with both aspects of my life.
Thank you so much for your time, Jack. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Nathaniel.
Of course, it was very, very insightful. Have a good one.
All right, take care.
So I just have a couple music-related questions today, since I know that you were a musician and it's always been a part of your life. So I'd just like to get more insight on that.
Sure.
So since you're my grandma, and music has always been a big part of our family, at least from my perspective, was it like this while you were growing up too? Like, what place did music have in your childhood?
Well, I started taking piano lessons when I was 10 years old. And after that, I just had eyes and ears only for piano. My dad played accordion in an old-time band. You know, and in those days, they went around from house to house and had parties, and people would dance. And so that was important to him. Music was very important to my dad. So, but after I was born, I didn't hear him play at all. It was a job, and he just stayed home. You know, he was a farmer. So, but after I started taking lessons at age 10, then they liked to hear me play. And that was about it. My mother wasn't musical, or wasn't hadn't learned any instruments or anything. So
Interesting. And
Yeah.
building off of that, like throughout your life thus far, like how has music influenced you throughout your life? Like, is your relationship with music ever changing, or did you find common ground? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it got to be stronger for me as I got older. When I was in high school, I played piano a lot. I accompanied the choir. And at that time, we had music contests, district-wide and statewide, and it would be solos or small groups. And I played a big role in it because I accompanied so many, and took part a little bit myself, but mainly accompaniment. And so that got stronger. Then when I went to college, I started taking piano lessons, and a short term I did organ lessons. And that was a big thing in my life. And then, of course, I started dating my to-be husband. And he was a major in music major. And then I decided, after I'd taken some lessons, I wanted to have some degree in music. So I took a minor in music and a major in elementary education. So it just increased through the college years. Then after college, I gave piano lessons in my home. And music was a big part of our lives.
Yeah. And you used to also play organ for church, right?
Right. I played for about, I'm not sure, I didn't keep track of the years, but I think it was about 30 years that I played the organ. And we were instrumental in getting a new pipe organ in our church too. So
in Colfax.
Exciting, yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. Can you recall the first time you ever fell in love with a piece of music?
Oh gosh. Yeah, it was, I suppose I had taken lessons for about a year, and my piano teacher gave me some sheet music, and it was called Falling Waters. And it was a lot of eighth notes to represent music, to represent water falling, And I played that many, many times. And my mother would always ask me to play that because she liked to hear that too. So that was probably the first one. And I don't remember composer. I don't know. It was just a little.
Was it a
easy.
Contemporary piece, or was it like interesting? I'll have to look it up then. Maybe I can find it.
I doubt it. It was just a beginner's sheet of music, but I liked that. But then as it got on, I really enjoyed Bach.
Yeah, of
really
course.
Enjoyed playing Bach and Beethoven. But through my lessons, it was just in method books that I was playing a lot, so.
What was the most enjoyable live performance of music you've ever experienced, and why?
Oh, there's so many.
Of course.
We lived quite a distance away from where there would be a good orchestra. But it was about an hour and a half to get to the Twin Cities. And so we would go to the Minnesota Orchestra concerts, also the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra. It would be one of those, I don't remember any specific concert that I would enjoy any more of the others. Just attending a live music performance was special. That was a great experience.
I mean, it always is special when you hear music live. It's like, you can listen online, you can listen on a recording, and it's great. But like live, you get the full experience of everything.
You just soak it up.
Yeah.
Just get so involved in it.
Yeah, you really get involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Grandma, thank you for your time this morning.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Nat.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to
Yeah,
talk
good to see you too. Would you
Yeah.
like to introduce where you're from and everything?
Yeah. I'm living in Hudson, Wisconsin. Lived for years in Colfax, Wisconsin, which is near Eau Claire. So that's about it. Grew up in Spring Valley, Wisconsin. So I haven't moved very far from where I grew.
True Wisconsinite.
I certainly am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you again.
You're so welcome, Nat.
Yeah.
We'll be talking. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Have a good
Sure.
one.
Thanks so much, you too.